Okay, we're going to get started. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking this time to spend with us to look at our new retirement application portal. My name is Tanita Larios, and I'm the Senior Benefits Analyst 2 over the Member Services Division, which is comprised of our Member Service Center, which is who answers your phone calls and your emails, and our Member Engagement Team, which does a lot of the education and outreach for our benefits. So congratulations to you all. You guys are going to be the first ones to actually view the retirement application portal. And we have a couple of things where you can provide feedback. We have our Q&A available for you guys to pose questions in. And we also have our chat, but we prefer that you post in the question and answers, then we can keep track of how of your questions, and then we can keep track that we actually answer them. So that's the better way, although chat is available. If you can't hear me, or you need me to slow down, or you have questions, please do so. We do have staff. Yes, we do have staff on hand. Our member engagement team is here to assist with answering those questions or any technical difficulties that you're having. So with that, we will go ahead and get started. But before I show you the demo, I wanted to give you a brief timeline of how this actually came to fruition. Of course, with the pandemic, we've had to pivot, as many of you all have had to do in your own jobs and your work duties and responsibilities. And so we thought this was a prime opportunity to provide some ease of access and convenience to our members in order to complete the retirement application process. And so we started conceptualizing this portal probably right at the time where the pandemic started in March. And we went through a review and design process. And now we're at the point where we can actually share it with you. So just a couple of points to put your mind at ease in regards to security, because you will be asked to provide some personally identifiable information. However, please rest assured that we have the highest security, the government security within not only this application, which is by a reputable agency called Box. I'm not sure if you guys have used it, but it's they've done projects with the DMV and the federal government. And we also have our Azure environment, which also has the highest level of government security with Microsoft. So rest assured that all the information that you have, even though it is on the web, outside push to the web, it is not in a web environment where someone is easily able to access your information. So I wanted to make sure that I started off with that, because I know it is very important, especially as we pivoted and moved over to a lot of digital information. One of the things before you even start in the retirement application, I want to let you know of some of the things that we have created to help you understand not only the retirement application process, but the benefits that you will be asked to elect in regards to some of your options in retirement. So we've created 2 tools that will help you in that regard. And one of them is our decision sheet, which is on our lacers.org. And I will share it with you really quickly. It is on our website, and it's called the Retirement Decision Sheet. And you can find it in our forum page, and I'll share it with you right now. Can everyone, no, right, I have to share it first. There you go. Are you able, if you can thumbs up or say something in the chat if you're not able to see my screen, one of my team members will let me know. See it. Yep. Okay, thank you. So this is your retirement application sheet. We call it the decision sheet, because this is where you're going to make most of your high level decisions. But before you get to the retirement decision sheet, there is a filing period by which you need to apply or submit your application. And that's 30 to 60 days out within your retirement effective date. So say if you wanted to retire in July. We're in the end of May. So the earliest that you would be able to apply would be 30 days from the date of your retirement effective date. And then the latest would be 60 days out. But what we really want you guys to do is contact us 90 days before, because you'll need two things that are very important and crucial to you having a good experience with your retirement. One is to sign up for a webinar for your health benefits and your retirement benefits, right? So our counseling session with the service retirement, they're going to do a webinar outside of all of this information that I'm going to show you today. And secondarily, of course, your health benefits, and you'll want to attend those webinars and get all the information. So your number one goal before you even start to go to the portal, which is why I haven't gone there first, is to contact us at least 90 days outside so that you can sign up for those webinars, and secondarily request an estimate from the service retirement unit. Why? Because you'll need that estimate to complete all of the selections, or a lot of the selections that you'll be making in the portal. One, of course, being, can you retire? Are you eligible? Right? That's number one. And certain other options and selections that we'll get to as well. So this retirement decision sheet that you can download right now, it's live on our website at lacers.org in the form sections under retirement decision sheet, will take you through some of the more important decisions that you'll be making. And if you see this little red button here, this button, if you click on it, it will take you to our Lacers YouTube, and it plays a video, pretty short and concise and to the point, about this particular topic. So you're like, oh, retirement date and application. What is that about? What are the things that I need to be aware of? If you just simply click on there, it's going to take you right into that section. And so the rest of these, as well as your required documents, your payment options, if you're going to leave a continuance, health insurance, death benefits and beneficiaries, as well as I think larger annuity at the bottom there is, those are all videos. So where you see that little red mark with the little play button, you can click on that and that takes you to the specific videos. If you just want to go on, we have a whole series about the retirement application portal. Of course, like I said, that was linked to there. You can click on, can you see my, are you guys looking at the YouTube page?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So if you see here, retirement application portal videos, you'll see all of the retirement application videos, and they are in order. So we have an introduction, we have your retirement effective date, your retirement option selection, survivor contributions, continuing elections, medical and dental selections, and so forth and so on. So you'll see they're all in order, and those are about, 3 to 5 minutes, except for the health, because that's pretty comprehensive, and we want to make sure that you have all the information that you need to make those decisions. It's about 14, 15 minutes. So if you ever get stuck and you're not sure about what you're making a decision on, just refer to these guides. So now I'm going to stop sharing this screen. And I'm going to go to our actual retirement application portal, which is what you guys are here for. But I did want to make sure that you understood the pre-work that goes into you educating and understanding the benefit selections that you'll be making in the portal. That is extremely important, and we want to make sure you have all that wrapped up. I'll go ahead and share the screen. Now, can you see the portal?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. So this is the landing page that you will get to once you click on the link. The link will be on our website for lacers.org under the retirement. We'll have a new page for applying for retirement, and it will have the online portal link there, and you will be able to link directly into that. And once you get to the landing page, you'll go to continue to log into Lacers. And because you're new, you're going to go down here and you're going to sign up for a new account. And when you sign up for a new account, It's going to provide you this information, your email address, and then what you're going to have to do is they're going to send a verification code to your email, and you're going to use that confirmation code or verification code to come back in, enter it, and then fill in the rest of the information. But there's a video on how to do that, and so rest assured you don't have to take the notes. I just click back because I already have an account, so I'm just going to proceed with logging in. So once you log in here, you will not see applications already created on here like you see in this view. This will be blank, and all you pretty much see is create new application. I have these here because of course I've been testing it, and so I have several applications that are pending. So you just clicked on create a new application. And then the information right here is very important. So before you start, we kind of repeat some of the things that I told you before. Contact Lacers at least 90 days out so you can get a retirement estimate, download the decision sheet. And then, if you're not familiar, we have a planning for retirement video that you can watch. We have the Medicare health and health video for you to watch, just to familiarize yourself with some of the decisions, again, that you'll be making. We want to make sure that you will have all the information you need. So when you're going through this, it's really just completing it because you've already done the work. You have already identified your selections. And we are linking all of this to the video. So although they're not live links now, when you access the portal, you'll be able to click back on the video. So we have videos for all of these, A through H. And we'll link to our PFR video and the rest. On the left-hand side here, you'll see the sections. So what we, in effect, have done is whittled down our application that was about 80 plus pages, and that's not even with the health section, and we condensed it into 10 sections here so that you don't have to repeat your name, address, phone number, social security number, and all those things at the top of all of the paper applications. It's just one and done, and this information carries through. So be careful about the information that you put in here because it should be accurate in terms of your retirement effective date, your marital status, and so on and so forth, because all of these fields or most of these fields are contingent, meaning when you put in information in one section, it feeds another. For instance, here, and we go back and we ask you if you got your retirement estimate, because of course that's important into making your decision, and we want you to make well-informed decisions, not off the cuff decisions. So if you say no, we tell you, hey, get your estimate, because we want you to make well-informed decisions, and we give you the access to do it. So either call email lacers.services or call us, right? And so if you're on a laptop or a computer that has hot links, you click there and it'll take you right into your phones. And then we ask you to initial it just because we want to make sure that you have. But back to fields that feed others, this is your personal information field. And this field here will feed your health information. So it is extremely important that you complete this information as accurately as possible. Because we know sometimes members do move out of the country. We do have, if you move out of the country, but that also will feed your health options should you decide to take on the health. Your birth date, social security number is required, and then all of your names that you previously used. And then you see these little question marks. It gives you more information about how you can use that field. So I'm just gonna go in and put in some dummy data. Just because I want you to be able to see some of the functionality here. So date of birth, this also drives whether your Medicare eligible or not. So for this sake, I'm just going to put in a Medicare eligible date. And this is a tricky field. So please take notice of this. This, as you might be accustomed to tabbing over to get more information in fields. And this one, you actually have to press the enter button. Otherwise, it will not take it and it will wipe it out. We are working with the developer to make that fix, but we haven't done it. We haven't rectified it as of yet. But so you know, just make sure that you press enter on the date of birth or any dates that you're doing. Social Security number, it will look for 9 digits. It can't, of course, verify that you have the correct Social Security number because this is not linked to any of your information that we have in our B3, which is our pension administration system. And then you just go ahead and fill out the rest of the fields. I'm gonna skip a couple of them just for the sake of expediency. And then enter your primary phone number and email address, gender. So this information here, when we go to the health field, you will see that it's gonna pull and it's gonna tell me where I'm living. One of the things that we asked you to do in the video is have your required documents ready so that you can upload them here. So here, this is your proof of birth. This is for yourself, the member, your ID, you know, typically a driver's license or other state or federal issued, and then your W-9. Your W-9 form is linked here. You just click here. The one thing that you will have to do is download, fill it out, sign it, save it, and re-upload it. So if you have Adobe Professional and you can sign electronically, you can do that, but you have to have it signed and save it and come back and upload it. In the future build, we are looking at an electronic signature product that will allow you to sign seamlessly within the portal, but we haven't gotten there as of yet. Another important note, and we reiterated here, is your retirement date. And so it tells you again that it's a 30 to 60 day filing period. And say, for instance, I'm at work and I'm like, oh, well, you know, I think I want to just go in 2 weeks. Like, I'm going to pick the 11th. Well, it's going to tell you, sorry, you have to be behind this date. And then what if I say, oh, I want to be proactive and I want to start my application, but I'm not going to retire until, let's say, November. And then it'll tell you, sorry, you have to be within the filing date. So make sure, that's why we try to give you the information up front so that when you're filling out and completing the retirement application portal, it's more of a seamless process. You've already done your decision sheet, you have your elections, you know when you want to retire, it's within the filing period. But this is just some safeguards that will help you along the way to determine when you can actually retire. So, and then these are just more free form fields. This doesn't actually, you know, verify. This is just text fields that you complete. There are some additional fields that will pop up depending on your choices. So I'll say at full time, these are not, I'm active. And it says if you have a 980 or 410, if you do, it's going to ask you for your regular day off. So you would choose it. If no, it doesn't show. This is another important field because it talks about your address at the time of retirement. At times, we do have members who will leave maybe the state, or they'll just move to another country, or maybe they're just moving down the street. Whatever the case may be, if you at the time of retirement are going to be living somewhere else, we ask for this additional information. So your move date, your address, the country, and so forth, because as I stated earlier, this is going to drive your health information. So in order to make sure that you are provided with the correct options when you get to the health section, this has to be accurate. So these are some additional questions that they ask about, you know, while you're employed, or a service purchase contract. So anybody thinking about retiring and you haven't submitted a service purchase request for part-time service or any other buyback opportunities, I would suggest you do that sooner rather than later, because it does take a while and we do have a backlog. So for the sake of expediency, I'm going to show you what happens. Like say, for instance, I don't know, I have to check. Like I thought I worked part-time, but I really need to check. And I say, I'm going to go to the next section. So what it's going to say is you have unsaved data. You're going to get a warning, and you could just say save for later. When you have completed the sections, if all the information is completed, then you'll see a check mark here on the left side of the navigation. And so this is just the rest of the information. So if you have city leaves, or if it doesn't apply, you click there. Reciprocity, we do have additional links that will take you to information about reciprocity. When we go through the various questions about reciprocity, this is a short page, so I'll just click through here so you can see what I mean about a completed page. And click next section. And you'll see on the left-hand side, it's checked with a check mark because that means you have completed it. But if you do go back and you edit something, then you'll click next section again so it saves the information. Then the next important part is your marital status, and take some time to read these carefully. So if you're single and never been married, or you're divorced and not currently married, widowed and not currently married, married in a domestic partnership, or legally separated, they also drive different benefit options. So for instance, if I say I'm single, nothing else pops up. But if I say I'm divorced, then it's going to ask for your prior marriages and proof of dissolution of that previous marriage. If you say you're widow, it's going to ask for the death certificate. And if you say you're married, it's going to ask for your current spouse's information along with the date of the marriage, because their different benefits are driven by different marriage dates. So we all know if you are married less than a year, then you're not eligible for a automatic continuance, meaning you'd actually have to purchase it. And if this sounds foreign to you, we do have our PFR, so you can look at it and understand some of the terminology that will be used during your retirement process. But we do, if you're married more than a year, we do ask for additional information for the continuance, meaning a supporting document, kind of the same information that you uploaded. So it's a good practice before you start this to get all of the information. And you can see our requirement documents list on our lacers.org, and in the before you start section in here, it'll be a link straight to there. So if you're not sure what you need to gather, you can refer to that link as well as to the video that also tells you. So, so again, an ID and a W-9, and then you upload your marriage certificate, and then you attest to it. So this is kind of how the portal is working. It's pretty straightforward. And then we ask for additional information for members who have prior marriages. Then you can add those there, or you say no, or and your spouse, if your spouse has prior marriages, there's no documentation required for that. We just keep that as a matter of record, as well as for children, your living parents, and it works the same way. You'll see the widget ask for certain information, and as well as for your parents, and asking for certain information for your parents. So your mother and your father separately. And again, you'll see the same pop-up that will show. So this is your retirement options. And these are some major decisions. I believe these are one of the ones that counselors spend a lot of time on deciding what your options are. And so for, there are two options, your cash refund retirement allowance and your life annuity retirement allowance. We do have a video on these, but this is where you select either option. Both options provide you a lifetime allowance. And I will like to draw your attention to these blue boxes. These blue boxes have additional information, so please take the time to read them. We also have yellow boxes, which kind of give you a warning about something that may occur or some additional things that you need to seek out. So please take the time to read them and don't just skim over them. It's easy because a lot of times, you know, we're reading, but remember, this is a decision that is going to affect the rest of your life after you retire. So please take the time to read all of these little note boxes so you can understand exactly what you are signing off to or selecting. Because I selected single, this is a refund of, oh, and one thing here, you just initial. So you just put in your initials there to satisfy the option, right? Because this is saying, hey, I read this, I understand it, I'm going to initial it. And then refund of survivor contributions, because I selected a single person, I have that option. And if I choose a lump sum refund of the survivor contributions that are on my account, then I'll have to download this form, fill it out, re-upload it here to the document upload widget so that I can move on. But for sake of ease, I'm going to say no and choose the increase allowance instead, which means I'm just going to apply it to my monthly allowance. And then you'll have a note here. It says members who have been married for less than 1 year. This is important because I didn't enter the marriage date. And because it's single, it says you're not required, right, to leave a continuance. But there is an option for you to leave a continuance, but it would be at your cost in a reduction to your allowance. So if you say yes, then you enter all the information that's necessary here. If I was married, this percentage would be grayed out because you are required to leave at least a 50% if you're married. So again, we have the document upload widgets, some more notes in the section, and we'll just move on to the next. So beneficiary designation, again, this gives you some information about your beneficiaries and the order in which things are paid and what is payable. And you would just simply initial there, and then you would enter the primary beneficiaries information here. You can add as many as you want by just adding here primary, and you can also add secondary. And you can add different percentages. So say I want to give 40% to one, and the good thing here, the only thing that's required is your the first and the last name, although you should provide as much information as possible, because remember, hopefully it will be a long time before Lacers has to pull out this information and pay a beneficiary on your behalf. But this would help us identify and locate the beneficiaries that we would need to pay. So if I say 40%, you see the primary total here is still red because it's looking for 100%. So in order for you to get 100%, you would have to keep adding beneficiaries, or you could just simply put 100% for that person. But and it won't let you move past it unless it equals 100, right? So secondary beneficiaries are not required. So you don't have to have a secondary beneficiary, but we do require a primary beneficiary. The same functionality is true for the funeral expense allowance. And you would just simply enter the information and the percentage and continue to add primary beneficiaries and or secondary beneficiaries until you reached 100%. And if you go over, you will get a warning as well. Here are some more disclaimers and more places for you to initial. And again, if it's not complete, it's going to tell you. And as you see, there's no checks. Except for one, because there's missing information here on the left-hand side. So larger annuity information, it says I need a URL because like I said before, this is the demo site and we're still linking all of our videos to our information here. But as you can see, if you read this information and you didn't understand it, you could just click on this URL, watch the video and be like, oh, that applies or that doesn't apply for me, or I would like to take advantage or not. And then if you do have larger annuity funds on account with us, we tell you, hey, they can't remain on Lacers. So discuss this with your retirement counselor. Or are you interested in purchasing a larger annuity? If you say yes, then it gives you additional information. So tax withholding. Again, there's some information about taxable retirement allowance and non-taxable retirement allowances, as well as the withholdings. If you say withhold using the tax tables, it's going to ask you for the additional information, whether you're going to do by filing marital status or an additional monthly amount. And the same is true for the California side. It's going to ask you for the various categories that they ask you to enter. And if you don't want to withhold, then you just click those selections and you move on. Direct deposit. Now I know most people are on direct deposit, but we have a very few a few people who are not. So we did want to be prudent about giving people the option, but we would highly encourage that you use the direct deposit and not have a paper check. And so here you just answer yes if you want to, no if you don't. And if you say yes, then you continue to fill out the rest of the items. There are some warnings in here. If you select a savings account instead of a checking account, it requires a signed document from your financial institution that you would have to upload below in, as we'll see in the upload widget. It asks if you have joint holders. If you say yes, you need to provide that information, otherwise no. And then in the event of death, who is the contact? And then of course, the standard banking information with your routing number and your account number, and then the upload widget for your canceled or voided check, and or the information for the financial institution should you select it to go to savings, which is very rare. Most people have it going to their checking account. So this is the last part before we get to the disclaimers, but this is the last part where you actually make selections. So the first one is, are you planning to enroll in the medical plan coverage? Some people don't elect to take our health coverage for, various reasons. Maybe they have coverage through their spouse or not, or maybe they're retiring early and don't want to pay, or what have you. It depends. So if you live outside of, so this is another warning message, and it's really just like if you're living outside of our coverage areas, there's an additional option in the MPRP, which is the medical premium reimbursement program that you can avail yourself to. And so we can give you more information about that. So you remember when I said, make sure you enter your address accurately, because it says right here, based on the address you entered in the About You section, you live in the following location, you'll be living in the following location after retirement. It's in California, right? So if I would have put Texas or Nevada or Oregon, it would have shown that here. And then it asked you some questions about health reciprocity, because if you have some health reciprocity with Lacera, there's some additional things that you should know. And which it asks you about the MPRP, which is the little box we talked about earlier. And if you want more information, you can click here and it'll take you to an info sheet. If not, you just simply move on. And then it also said, remember I talked about the birth date. It says based on your previously entered birth date, you're eligible for Medicare. So the Medicare information is located here, and it will ask you, it's going to take you through a series of questions. So if I say, yes, I've applied for Medicare, it's going to ask me if I'm eligible for Part A premium free, right? Because you're only required to get Part A if it's premium free. And so if I say yes, this tells you some more information. And then it says, have you received your Medicare card? And then you say yes. Then it'll ask you to enter the information. If you say no, it's going to tell you to return that card when you receive it to lacers.health.lacers.org. So you would want to take note of that. Also, these Medicare A, if you are eligible for Medicare Part A or Part B, you need to, I'm sorry, not Part B, because everyone's eligible for that once they hit 65, but Part A, you need to make sure if you're eligible or not, because if you answer no, you're not eligible, or no, you didn't receive it, or what have you, it also drives the choices that you'll be able to select right after here. And then this is about the dependent. So if you're covering health Some dependents in health, you have to include them here, as well as if they're Part A and Part B covered. And then you download the form, sign it, and upload it back. So the next section is basically a summary of what you've entered. So you're over 65, you live in California, you have Part A and Part B. I didn't enter any dependents, so that's why it doesn't say anything for the dependents. However, if I entered dependents above, then it would have the plans or the information like it's stated here for the member. So this is my information, this is the member information. So that's one key that you should be aware of, that you should always make sure that you're filling out who you're filling out the information for, right? So look at the headers. The headers will tell you spouse information or member information or your information. So you make sure that you upload the information in the right areas of the plan. So as you see, based on the information, it provides you the necessary plans that you would be available for. And then you would just simply download the form, complete it. And sometimes there's more than one form attached. So make sure that you complete any form that is in the file that opens up, save it, and then again, upload it right here to your health plan document upload. And then we're rounding the corner to the end. And then it talks about dental plan coverage. Are you enrolling in dental plan? And then it gives you the options to what you select. And then again, if you're covering dependents, it will tell you, oh, copy dependents. Interesting. That's a new feature that I didn't know was there. So if you enter dependents above and you didn't, and you want to cover them and also in dental, because you have medical and vision together, and then you have dental separate. So if you're covering the dependents that you entered above, then you can use that copy feature, which is new. They must have just pushed that out. That was a request. So you guys saw that at the same time I did. So you would enter the dental dependent here, and you would add their certification of dependent and survivor status. So always look for the click here type links to forms, because we have tried our best to provide you the access for the forms within the portal. So there's not like you don't have to call the office, look on the website. We try to make sure that it was available to you here. And as we build this out in additional phases, it will be more seamless, because we'll have the ability to sign within the portal instead of the download and the upload. But for right now, we will have to do the download and upload back. So just be aware of it. But it's much more convenient than filling out 80+ pages of paper where you're writing your name probably 20 times. So here, these are the disclaimers. So throughout that packet that I was talking about, we have many disclaimers to help you understand certain aspects about the retirement process, certain withdrawal, like important items in the application. So for instance, this is just missing contributions. And we talk about a little bit about missing contributions, and then you need to read this and then initial. Don't just skip over and then initial, because you don't know what you're signing. Make sure you read it. If you have questions, excuse me, of course, you can always call our 1-800 number and ask the questions. If our staff in the Member Service Center can assist you, we will make sure that we refer you to the unit that will have the answer. But don't just sign for the sake of signing. Get the information you need, because the beauty of this is you are creating an account. So you can stop at any point, get the information you need, and then log back in and complete. So it's not just like a form that you have to complete all at once, but you do want to make sure that you complete it within the filing period time, so that you don't get an error and then like, oh, I missed my filing period. Now I have to extend my retirement effective date. So just be clear of this. This will talk about withdrawal, and I'll show you how you can actually withdraw within the portal. Say you changed your mind or something came up and you need to extend your you're not going to retire on the date that you want to, you will have to withdraw your application here. You can also amend your application, but you will have to call our office at the 800 number, and actually you have to put it in writing. So let me clarify that. You need to send that in writing to us at lacers.service and saying you want to amend it. But at that time, you should have already, once you submitted it, you already will have a counselor assigned. So you would probably just communicate that to them. So this is about the application withdrawal. You can withdraw up until, 11:59 the day before your retirement effective date. Your retirement effective date is irrevocable. So once your retirement effective date is here, you are retired. This gives you some information on reemployment and the prohibition of reemployment, previously set up aside for some of the mayor's authority in regards to 120-day employment opportunity or some elections work. This talks about excise tax in regards to having a prearranged reemployment agreement. Service purchases, if they're uncompleted, it talks about the service credit that you'll be awarded or not awarded depending on the status of your service purchase. Reciprocity, a note here, if you are reciprocal, if you have reciprocity with another agency, explaining to you that you have to retire on the same day. And then we'll have a link to the reciprocity info sheet that will give you some information there. Required docs, again, we ask you to make sure that you have your required docs and that you upload them to the correct links, because if you don't, then it could delay your retirement application, and we don't want that to happen. Sick and payouts, we get this a lot. We do not are not in charge of paying that out. That is with your own employing department. So please, consult them when you want to know when you're going to get paid. Retirement allowance corrections in regards to any community property division or administrative proceedings or court orders. There may be some corrections made to your retirement allowance, but these shouldn't be surprises to you. You should know about them. And then information about any relief or administrative proceeding that you may be having or seeking remedy to. It may impact your process, so you want to make sure if that's going on, that you talk to your counselor or you call us and let us know so that you can be advised appropriately. And of course, hopefully we'll never have to use this again, but in the event of another city declared fiscal or health emergency, we may resume a managed retirement process. We actually are currently doing that, where Lacers is the one that sets the date of the retirement, and they may have to adjust. It doesn't quite happen. It doesn't happen often, but there may be some slight adjustments or adjustments outright to your allowance. So there's some information about that. And then we just give you some information on the cost of living adjustment in retirement. And we link you back to our lacers.org website, where you can read additional information and also see the COLA that the board has been approving over several years. And for those who are fall in the highly compensated category, we have some information on our excess benefit program fact sheet. So after all of this is done, I'm not going to click over it. I'll scroll over into the left navigation because I didn't fill out all of the categories just for the sake of time. You will click next, and then it'll go and it's going to review all of your entries to make sure you completed it. If you didn't complete it, then you will, it's going to tell you an error, and then you can go back to this section. So it's going to show you section by section, which areas need attention, and then you'll go back and you'll update that information. But like I said, you can start your application. I wouldn't suggest starting your application until you've done all your homework, use the videos, attended a webinar from our service retirement unit, our counseling session, and our health section. So you know exactly what you're putting in the portal are the selections that you are committed to, right? And once the portal has done the check and you submit it, then it's submitted. You can only withdraw in the portal. If you need to amend or you need to make any changes, you'll have to wait until you're assigned a counselor to communicate those changes, or send an email to our lacers.services if you haven't been assigned a counselor yet, and let us know that there's something that you want to change in the portal. Now, that being said, you can always view your application at the end once it's submitted. So the status will change, right? You'll see at first it's in progress, but once you submit it, it's going to say under review, and it's going to show you who it's assigned to. So that's a benefit. Before, you wouldn't know what counselor you were assigned to. You can also look at the path it'll go, because it'll say, okay, it's assigned to the counselor, then it's assigned to payroll, then it's assigned to the health representative. And health is kind of the last step in the process in regards to entering information, although it runs parallel with your retirement counseling, because we want to make sure that you have the information up front. But when you click on the view button, you'll be able to see all of your entries. This is just staged entry. I've done this. So our box team staged it for me. But as you can see, it has every section and all of the information that I provided. It will additionally have links to any of the documents that you have submitted. So you'll be able to review all of this. And before you click submit, you will also be able to review your entire document before submitting it in the portal. So, so that's pretty much all of the information that I have to share with you, and we can go ahead and entertain any questions that we have, but it doesn't look like there's many to answer, but I'll look to my team to give me some guidance there.
We've answered a lot of questions through the Q&A already, but if anyone has any outstanding questions, Tanita can help assist, answer those live. So go ahead and submit those through Q&A, and she'll be able to see those.
I have one question. Oh, Gabriel's typing an answer, but it says, is the retirement date the date you start receiving retirement payment? And it says, and can differ from your last day of employment. So your retirement effective date is your last day on city payroll. It's not the day you start receiving payment. So the date you start receiving payment is typically the month following your retirement effective day. So say I'm going to retire on 5/25, then I would be on June payroll. Actually, I mistake that. The end of the pay period, so if I'm 5/25 and the end of the pay period happens to be this Saturday, then my next check would be the last day of June. That would be my first retirement check, right? So that's how that works. So how can I find out the date that I'm eligible for retirement? You can sign up for a My Lacers account if you don't have one, and you can see your eligibility there, and you can actually run estimates in My Lacers. So you can either do that. If you don't have a My Lacers account, you'll need to contact our office and request a PIN letter be mailed to you. Then you can go ahead and set it up. If you don't want to wait, you can always ask our counselors on the phone to run you an estimate. So for my team who were answering questions, can you just tell me what was the main thread of the questions?
A lot of people were asking about the go live date. So tentatively, it is scheduled to launch June 16th. So that's when, you can go in and potentially start creating your application and filling out your information. Other questions? Some people were asking if they submitted documents to us previously. Will they have to upload them again through this portal? And I wasn't sure if someone answered that or not, but I remember that was a question that came up maybe once or twice.
So I would say yes, upload your documents for ease of access. Remember, a lot of our staff are working from home. We do have access to our portal, but I say if you have them handy, go ahead and upload them again, because the portal is not going to allow you to move on unless you have a document uploaded to that section. And as far as the go live date, remember the filing period is 30 to 60 days. So if you're applying on day one, you have to make sure that your retirement effective date is, outside of, the 30 is within the 30, 60-day filing period. So keep that in mind. So we will be suggesting that people from August 1st and forward retirement effective dates apply in the portal, and that everyone else use the other, our current option, just for ease of transition for the staff. And then it says one grant says, I don't have sufficient years of service to qualify for a health subsidy, but am eligible to enroll in a health plan. I am eligible for Medicare. What is my full cost of LACERS plan premium currently? That's a question that can be answered by looking at our health benefits guide or one of our videos, or looking on our lacers.org, understanding your retirement. And then I think the health section is there, and you can look at our health benefits guide. I don't have those numbers off the top of my head, and I definitely don't want to steer you in the wrong direction. So I would say take a look at that. If you still have questions, you can definitely call our 800 number, and someone will assist you either there or refer you to one of our health advocates to give you some additional information. Do I need to initial all disclaimers? You need to initial all the disclaimers. They're all required. So if you saw the little dot, the little red asterisk at the top, those are required fields. So if you don't answer all the required fields, it will not allow you to submit your application. Can you explain the 50% regarding the single versus married continuance? By being married, do you lose money in payments? No, you do not lose money in payments. It's part of your benefit. So if you're single, you don't have to leave a continuance. It's not mandated. But if you're married, you do have a continuance. But both single and married people have that those contributions already on deposit with the plan with LACER. So that's why when you go single, they ask you, what do you want to do with your survivor contributions? Those are the contributions that would have been used to pay for the continuance. But because you're single and you're not mandated to leave a continuance, you can refund those or apply them to your allowance. So there's no difference in the payment that you would receive as a single or a married person. It's just the option to refund the survivor contributions, which is the continuance, which would pay your surviving spouse DP that's eligible for their lifetime should you pass away before they did. And so they would get, at a minimum, you could choose to leave more, but that would cause a reduction, but the 50% is not. And so they would get paid 50% of your retirement allowance for their lifetime if you passed away before they did. So is FMLA considered active employee or leave with pay? I am not sure with that question. Does anyone on my member engagement team know that answer?
I'm not really sure what they're asking, but if you're on any sort of leave with pay, and if your concern is that, you want to get credit for that time that you're out, as long as you have some sort of time to use to get paid while you're away, it's not going to affect your service credit or anything like that. So hopefully that's what that question was about. But if not, please clarify by sending in a new question.
Good point. Okay. So with that, is it possible to have direct deposit to 2 accounts? No, not to my knowledge. I don't think that's possible. Okay, I have 9 months without pay. Can I learn the cost of my service credit before saying yes to it? I'm not sure exactly. Oh, you mean if you want a buyback time? Is that what you're asking? You would have to call our office and ask for a buyback rep, and they could guide you, because I guess it would depend on what the leaves were and if you qualify for certain buybacks. I'm not the expert on that, so I will defer to our service purchase unit who would be able to give you some very direct information on what you need to do. Thank you for the anonymous attendee. We appreciate your appreciation. And live 6 months in California and 6 months in Nevada. How can you get California health insurance during retirement? I would say, Gabriel, do you have information on that? You can go ahead and answer it.
That's a really specific question. If you live half the year outside of California, that's going to cause some issues, and that probably should be actually directed to a health rep, because a lot of people try to maintain their Kaiser coverage and go and live in Nevada, and that's really not allowed. So the best thing would be to contact Lacers in that question and speak with a health rep so they can actually pull up your account, look at your information, and talk you through that.
Okay, thanks, Gabriel. So I don't see any more questions. So with that, unless someone else has a question, we'll go ahead and close the session, and appreciate you all's time and attendance for today, and apologize for the little technical glitches I had with getting that screen shared, but I hope that you guys are excited as I am for this process. And again, make sure that you give yourself enough time to get all the information, watch our videos on Lacers YouTube. If you want to, and you don't have a My Lacers account, sign up for a My Lacers account. You can look for your estimates, and we will post this video, but I will have to delete out my little screenshots that I shared my outbox with you guys, my Outlook, inadvertently. So it will be available for you guys to view. But remember, we have a host of videos on our YouTube channel. Look at the PFR, or Planning for Retirement video for Tier 1. Look at all of the retirement application videos there, and download our decision sheet from our forms library on our lacers.org. Once again, I want to thank you, and thanks to my team who also have done a marvelous job with this, for answering all the questions and for providing support. So you have any more questions or concerns, feel free to let us know at either our 800 number, or you can email us at lacers.services@lacers.org, and we'll be more than happy to respond. With that, thank you all for joining, and have a great rest of your evening.